Hey YouTube, this is Daniel out in the garage here. I'm finna say out in the shop, but we don't have a shop anymore. This is just kind of explain how that I was able to hit a mile shot. One of my friends that I met at a gun range a while back, he runs ABTXOUTDOORS, and on his website, he was able to video himself shooting out to a mile. He went in on 1200 and got his wind call, and then he went and shot the mile and hit it 5 times consecutive. I hit it my first try at it. I had too much windage, and of course this doesn't have at this range there's no dirt burn behind it. It's just up in some tree. The target is actually up in some trees, and when you go to shoot, if you don't have a good spotter and it's not warm enough where they can see your trace, you can't tell where your shot went. And so I did on my first, and I looked at the trees and the brush around it, and I said, man, there's nothing moving out there. And so I shot at the 1200 yards, get my wind call, and then I shot at the 1300 yard, got my wind call, which a mile is 1760, so about 17 football fields. And so the 1300 was closer than the 1200, but they was on either side, because if you see in this illustration that I'm gonna put up here, the 1 mile target is kind of like in an alley, and the round dots is representing trees. So that target is surrounded by trees, and that target at 1 mile has a flasher on the back. And so you see on the paper where I had 1300 off to the right and 1200 off to the left. And they have, I think, a 33% IPSC or full IPSC out there. It's painted yellow. And so I shot those to try to get my wind call. And then I looked and I said, man, there's nothing moving out there. And so I happened to hold dead center. My elevation was like 64.50, MOA up. And I held dead center. And sure enough, pulled the trigger, held my breath. It takes I put the flight time on here, but it takes a while for it to leave the gun and get out to a mile. I don't know how many seconds it is, but I'll put it up here when I get it. And so I hit the mile, and I turned around to the guy and I said, hey dude, where's my little badge? And so he went and got it, and while he was gone, I shot 2 more times, holding the same hole, same elevation, holding dead center. And sure enough, it was a good call, because the flasher came on 2 times after each hit. So that's how I did it. The 1400 yard berm and the 1500 yard berm is off to the left. And then when you go out further to 1700, you have to come back over. It doesn't have a 1600 yard berm, so you go from, well, actually the range starts at 300 yards. But what I did today, I started at 1200, because 1200 has a flag. At this range, they have a flag at every 300 yards. And that kind of helps you spot on your wind call. It helps on your wind call when you see the flag out there. The Kester tell you something, but the Kester is measured at the location that you're at. And then you have wind at max ordinate, and then you have wind down there at the target. And so they have a flag at the target every 300 yards. And so 1200 had one, and I looked at it. Then I went to the 1300 and made some adjustment. And so when I hit both of those, I felt pretty confident. And again, there was no debris blowing, there was no leaves moving, and I didn't see any thing that gave me any indication that it had a strong wind down there. So I said, well, let me just throw one out there and see what happened. We're using the Hornady ELD match, 225 grain, and it works really well for what I do. If I hand load it, I'll probably get tighter groups at 100 yards, but it's close enough, and I know that it's factory ammo, so I expect what I expect. And I don't know how big the target is down there. I gotta find out how big that target is. But anyway, it was big enough to hit. And most times they're 24 by 24 or 36 by 36 at a mile. The further you go out, they're usually a little bit bigger because one MOA would have been 17, because it's 1760. So it would have been a pretty big target, even if it was just one MOA. But anyway, I'm thankful I hit it. It was on my list. I've thrown a lot of ammo down the barrel. This Ruger 300PRC, the Ruger precision rifle. I had my Accu-Tac bipods on it with the sleds, and I have a board with a mat on it that has grooves, and so the recoil comes straight back. And I have a Leupold Mark IV 6-25 scope on here, and I can see the target easy. Even though it was a muggy, overcast day, you can still see the target because the center of it, they have it paint orange or it's painted a bright red. And so you can identify, and all around that red or orange spot is black. So you can see the target really, really well. And I didn't have it on full power. I think I was down about 20 or something. It helps to run a little low on your power, especially if you got Mirage, but we didn't have much Mirage today. I didn't see any if they had it. But, and it was like early in the morning, 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, and the rainstorm was coming, so the wind hadn't reached us to pick up. And so I'm very grateful. I'll give you a picture of those. I got my badge, so this year I've accomplished quite a bit in the shooting that I wanted to accomplish. I got the 1 mile done. I got the badge for it, and then I got the Texas plinking. And I do need to go back to Texas plinking because I believe I can get a silver. I probably won't ever get a gold until I learn more about the wind, because Texas plinking only give you a gold if you hit it on the first shot, cold bore. And I'm still working on muzzle velocity and understanding cold bore, point of impact shift and all that stuff. But so far, I reached all my goals for us this year. A roaming shot, I hadn't decided to go to it yet. You have to shoot the plays, which is 4.5 inches. And with factory ammo, I'm not too sure if that's gonna be doable. But anyway, if I get a wild hair, I may drive over there. It's over in Louisiana, just the next state over. Drive over there and try that. But so far, we're happy. That's just how I shot my mile. Got my wing call at 1,200 and 1,300 yards, and looked at the foliage around the 1 mile target, and then took the shot. Thankfully, my elevation was right. I held dead center for wind and got it. Got it on my second shot. First shot was too much. I had like 6 MOA to the right, I believe. And I said, well, that don't look like nothing's moving. And that's when I went dead center. Sure enough, it was a hit. So thanks for watching.